like that. So, hello, good evening. It is September. It is January 9th, I think today is. Am I correct? Is 8? Okay, so we can all get confused together. My name is Misun, and I've been confused about the day. For those of you who's hearing this, I run Center for Conscious Thinking and Conscious Living in Lake Park, Florida. And so for those of you who will see this are the subscribers. So you already kind of know, and you don't necessarily need the spill. I said how you say spill? Spew. So, but anyway, so then that's one of the words I use a lot is so. Don't ask me why, but it seems to be the acronym that I use. This is the first recording for 2026, and I'm going to try to, I don't know why I say it, but keep it in the shorter version instead of a long one. This is part of the meditation class that I hold on Thursday nights, and it is subject is, what is to live conscious life? What does that look like to you? And I think it's always important, but perhaps it's more important than ever, but probably it's just something I'm saying because why is it more important, to be honest? What is it? How does it to be one less important to not to live conscious life? So I think it's just the expression that I'm using. But I do think because all of us has ushered in 2026, whether we like it or not, because we're alive. Because if you're watching this, because you're alive, and I'm recording this because I'm alive. If we weren't alive, I wouldn't be doing this, right? So that's just part of being. The clock goes forward, time goes forward, not backwards. So we are in 2026, and the biggest thing that I've been talking to my students and all the people that I deal with, whether it's in sound healing or yoga class or the meditation, is that fasten your seatbelt because it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride for entire humanity. 2026 is in numerology, it is number 1. It is the beginning of a new start for the next 9-year cycle. Of course, those of you who's out there, who's beyond my radar, who's an astrologers, notable ones, and maybe not so notable, but just as qualified, they're all predicting, looking at the planet, enlightenment, and see what is happening. I think in the last moon we had, not the one we just had on the 3rd, but in December, I think they were talking about, that's when, during the full moon, I think, the way the planet was aligning was, if I remember, I'm not an astrologer, I just dabble at it really little, is that French Revolution took place, the Marie Antoinette got her head lopped off, that people are getting restless and all that. So, like, people who's in the know and those things, they look at the stars and the planet and they can see the history of when all the things has taken place. So right now, in 2026, they've been predicting right through 2025, is that planet's been aligning like almost never have. Consequently, just looking at like a blueprint in a map, you can predict. Well, it's not something I have to believe, it just is. You have to believe, it just is. So when they say, that you think the 2025 was fast, you just wait and see the 2026. Because also that we need to be centered, because when you're not centered, it's like when you go on the fast-moving train or whatever, when you start moving, you have to hang on to something like, in the bus would be whether it's that pole or the strap. Otherwise, you're going to get thrown all over the place. I use that analogy because that's how I see it. We are all on this ride of life. On this planet, the planet is spinning. Time is going really fast. We can't get up because we're on this thing called life. So how do you center? It is that literally meditating. I've been walking twice a week. Twice a day, at least twice a day. Meditating about an hour a day. Not all in a one shot of 1 hour. It's like my meditation usually runs 20 minutes. Like this morning, I would have loved 40 minutes because I kind of got into the zone on 20 minutes and my alarm was going off. I usually set at 21 minutes just in case I'm fussing with something so I could literally get that 20 minutes. So I'm very mindful. So that is what you acquire to do. Another technique that I use is oftentimes people would say, well, can I go walk with you? You want to come walk. Walking and talking about what's happening in this situation and a planet, I don't think is all that helpful. It's helpful for your body, but for your mind to unwind. But so when you're talking about political situations and what's happening in current time, how is that going to help you to settle down? So if you can spare and give to yourself, and it is give to yourself, take a walk by yourself if you can. Take a dog if you have one, because dog isn't going to talk to you other than snuggle up beside you. So that's the method that I use. So I talk to the tree, I talk to the sky, I talk to the birds sometimes. When they're chirping, I answer back. But it gives me a time to take a long breath, like going through your nose and just exhaling out slowly and begin to just, begin to feel the centering. So those are what is going to acquire all of us to do more often, because without that, we are going to get thrown off. That when you go and start driving and people start cutting you off, you're going to get disoriented. Or I had a situation this morning, I was teaching yoga, and I was in my space with the 10 of the students, but a woman was walking in and she had a next painting class and she was quite charged in, talking about it. And I was just finishing and somebody else made a comment afterwards. Don't you just love it when you kind of center and we're in this space and somebody comes in and just kind of, revved up and charge you? And I said, well, if you are centered, and if you take long breaths, when you do spend meditation, when those situations happen, it gives you an opportunity to hold your space without getting caught up on their situation. All of a sudden, I wasn't moving my bags and this need to rush people up. I just took a couple of deep breaths and just gather my things and let them figure out whatever they're doing. Their stress does not have to become my stress. Their stress does not have to move me out of my peace. And I didn't say anything to her, meaning, engage in that. I just allow her to figure this out and for me to stay in my center and move through my life without being affected. But she certainly gave all of us, the people who were in my class, she was that practice that we needed. Can we hold the center? Can we not get off balance? Because we've been working on for a whole hour, a yoga class, breathing class, and somebody come in 2 seconds and take you right off, that means we haven't practiced enough. Because the more you practice, you can be amused, you can look at it, you can be empathetic, but you don't have to get into their whatever the mood or the awareness they have. You can keep yours. So that is what is going to acquire all of us. Now, moving on, the subject that I want to talk about was all that I talked about, but on top of it is this. Honesty. I am more convinced than ever, is that in order for us to get fixed, or me to be fixed, more than anything, it's not what they're doing. What is not what my husband's doing, my children are doing, or this or that. It's the question that I always ask is, what is my part in this? And then when I do engage with other people, it really is something for all of us to ask. Again, what is my motivation? Am I engaging in from authentic place of honesty? Am I aware of my behavior? Sometimes people will say, well, because so-and-so did X, Y, and Z, and that's why I behave that way. And we do, because we have feelings, and we have expectation because I behave certain way, and I keep behaving certain way, being empathetic or kind or trying to convince because I think somehow, to be honest, I'm going to change them. I'm just going to love them so much. They're going to realize it. So what do I have in this game? I want to be understood by them. I want to move them. And in a way, this is where our ego plays. Because who doesn't want to be accepted? Who doesn't want to be loved? Because we are coming from a place of a sincerity. But my sincerity is, how sincere am I? How sincere are you? And from a place we may be as sincere as we are capable of in this moment. So the deeper we dive in, the more onions we peel, that we begin to understand that things isn't going to get perfect because we're not operating place from genuine, complete honesty without ego or selflessness place as we think we are. Oh, I think I am. We got something to gain and something to lose. But what are we willing to compromise to get that? And that's the question. Because whether we realize or not, we are compromising. We all have to compromise. So I'm not stating that we shouldn't be compromising. Of course we should be compromising and be flexible. But the thing is, what is my motivation? To convince that person how much they're hurting me, how much I'm trying, that I want them to understand how much I'm trying, and they're continuously hurting me, and they're not showing up the way that I expect them to do. Because if they do it a certain way, my feeling would get soothed, right? I won't be hurt anymore as much, at least I think. So that's my motivation, is what is wrong with, we don't want to be hurt. Because whatever our motivation is, when somebody says no to you, your feelings get hurt. My feelings get hurt, right? But then if we go in just a little bit deeper and dive in, why is it? And if I'm truly showing up, putting everything on the table, what I believe, what I am, and I have dig deeply into my soul, and this is the honestly as I'm going to get, how I can get, fully knowing my Achilles heel, my hang-ups, and I'm going to do this because I still want what I want, because it's going to make me feel better right this minute, not when I'm evolved even further up. Because when we know better, we do better. So when we don't know better, we are going to be kind of stuck in where we are. But still, we can recognize, yeah, I want to reach to that, but right now, this is where I am, and this is what I need. So I'm going to make compromise. I'm going to trade. I'm going to trade some of this few comforts. Because if I think if he gives me what I want, blah, 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 then I'm going to get, our life's going to be better. If that's what you believe, go for it. But at least understand that is what you're trying to do. You're not operating from the highest level. I'm not operating from the highest level. So this thing called spiritual journey is awakening to our true self, is all about honesty. All about. And it's nothing wrong with being a human, because we are learning, we are evolving, we are playing, and this is what this entire being a human is all about. That is my understanding. I've been playing at this from, oh God, many, 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 many lives. Many lives, I know that. In my numerology world, I am 9, right through from my birthday and my month and my year. I'm here to finish my business. But that's my understanding anyway. And the life itself, I'm very methodical. It shows me that, is that I am here. It's an opportunity for me to try to clean it up and finish it. But I'm beginning to think lately, maybe I want to if this life was offered to me once more, would I take it when this is all said and done? I'm beginning to wonder, I don't know. Because before, say 2 years ago, I would have said, oh my God, absolutely not. No, 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 no. I'm going to finish this and I'm done with it. I don't necessarily feel that way. I don't know what my feeling is, but other than this is a great place and great privilege to be a human and learn these lessons in spite of all the pains, because we feel it. Because if we didn't feel the pain, we wouldn't be working ourselves to make the corrections or get ourselves better, right? But I didn't come this life to float in a swimming pool and on my backstroke. I don't even know how to do backstroke. But just lying there like, oh, this is just wonderful. That's not why we're here. We are here to sharpen our tool, to understand, to sense, the literally feeling. Can you imagine all your senses are so fully awake? You can feel it all and taste it, right? I mean, wouldn't that be just absolutely amazing? I was teaching yoga this morning and I was saying, to understand what is to be alive. And most of the time we want to get through this life kind of numb. I just want to be pain-free. Like, oh, for God's sakes, pain will pass. The suffering will pass. But I want you to experience the pain and the joy and the ecstasy for all the different flavors. Like, when you sink your teeth into a bitter fruit, like you go, oh my God. But you get, all your senses come to life, right? You know it. You can taste them. Isn't that great to be having all those sensors that it's come to life and you can feel it? I was talking to one of my co-volunteers at the food pantry, and he said, he can't smell it. I said, seriously? And he said, he cannot smell it. I said, well, when did that happen? I know this person. He said, about 10 years ago. Just one thing on this complicated machine called the body. Smell, just one thing. Can you taste the food? He said, yes, but he can't smell it. Can you imagine not being able to smell the fragrance, not to be able to smell the, burning something on a stove, or anything? So when I think about like, oh my God, so for most of us, we are fortunate enough to have all these senses. Like, how could we not want to experience and taste and to feel the emotion and honesty? We don't want to be numbed and drugged. You want to feel all that. That doesn't mean you want to take all the blows in the heart and everything. That's hard. I've been there thousands times. I'm not welcoming saying, God, can I suffer some more so I can feel the ecstasy? No, I'm not saying that. But there lies the honesty, there lies the experience and my growth. So I'm not welcoming it. I just want to learn as best I can so I can graduate from that lesson. And then when that lesson passes, I think, oh, I got that. Life has a surprise for me. Oh, now it's like us, I don't know, studying physics or theoretical physics or whatever the most complicated thing you could think. When you master your basic math and you're into geometry and trigonometry and everything else, well, you're into next math and you thought you were just so darn smart at your last class, but now you're lost. Because you graduated from something that you already did into something harder, so you become smarter. That we all become smarter. I remember my son saying when he was in a medical school, something in the effect of a welcome to the medical school. You might have been the smartest kid in your class when you were in your small town doing your thing. Now you're just one like everyone else. And that is kind of essentially, to me, is the very same thing in life. Is when the life gets difficult, don't fret so much. Take a breath. And when the lesson gets harder, that means because you are getting so smart, you're getting so much experience, your level is getting a little bit more difficult because you graduated from other ones. And then now you are capable of being exposed to more things. So the biggest lesson that I have to talk about, and this is my first video for this year, it is really working on yourself and ask in those quiet moments, what is my motivation? How honest am I? How honest am I? Not with the rest of the world, with me. Because if you can fool the whole bunch of people out there, but one person that you cannot fool is yourself. And know that. I know that. No matter how many adorations you might get, how many prizes you might win, that deep down, that there is God within you, or whatever you want to call, knows the truth. And listen to it. Listen to your intuition. It will not stray you wrong. So listen to that best friend within you, that God within you, and ask yourself, what is my motivation? How honest am I? Because you deserve that. I deserve that. I don't need to be fooled by myself, by me. You don't need to be fooled. You don't need to lie to yourself to affirm your life, nor do I need to. But I could have a great deal of compassion for myself, for my journey. You could have a great compassion for your journey, like embracing that child within you who's struggling. Love yourself. You deserve that. I deserve that, because nobody loves you or should love you more than yourself. Because then when we love ourselves and accept ourselves for who we are, whatever that you want to call it, it's not even a flaw. It's just a process of becoming. Whatever the perfection that you have in your head and imagining, it's just an imagination. We are in the process, and every moment, as I have discovered, is perfect. I am perfect at this moment. I am. And from that place, and I adore myself, because I'm trying so hard to master this mastery because of that. Not because my judgment, but because the child within me who is trying, the child within you is trying so hard. I have so much compassion and love, so when periodically I just say, soon, I just so appreciate you. I just so love you. So if you can reflect that mirror back, you might be amazed, because you are the best friend. There's nobody going to be a better best friend than you are. And most of the time, we are our worst friends. We are the biggest critics, right? So begin to become that best friend that you imagine that will show up in your door, would not betray you, and all those stories you tell. You become that. I become that for myself. Then the rest, it will fall into place. So I think that will be enough for tonight. So the honesty is because even when we are dishonest, we're trying. We're trying. Okay? So I love you. Have a great day or evening, and whenever you get to watch this. And happy, happy journey of 2026. We are all in this together. And let's see what we can radiate and vibrate into this world, because when we begin to vibrate the coherence, I truly, truly, truly believe that because we are all in the same boat, let's rise together. All right? Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye-bye.